Hello, everybody, and welcome to our huge Christmas tour collaboration. A lot of them will be doing whole rooms, and a lot will just be doing various parts of their home. And I'm just doing the living room because I have so much for you to see. If I did the whole house, it would take hours. So I do them room at a time. We want to thank Antoinette Decorating for hosting this wonderful collab. I hope you'll check out everybody. There will be a playlist. I know you probably can't get to everybody in one evening, but I hope you will take time in the next few days to check everybody out. So let's get started. This is where I always start with the living room. I'll walk in here and I'll give you the full view. Y'all know we're not minimalists, we're maximalists for sure. But you know, that's the main thing. That's the main tip I could give anyone just starting out. Decorate to please yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. If you love it, that's all that counts because you're the one that has to live with it. And John and I love to be surrounded by our many collections. We've been married a long time, 61 years, so we've accumulated a lot of things, and they're treasures to us. Okay, over here, in one of my little vintage chairs, I have this absolutely adorable Santa. He was full of candy, and I thought he was just super cute. He looks vintage, even though he's not. Someday he'll be vintage. And on the chair, I have just a lot of super cute Christmas cards. Most of them are Scotty dogs and terriers, and I think they're just precious. And on this beautiful vintage table, I have that Longaberger basket that we got recently at a yard sale, and I just put a tree in it and some picks. And on the table, this is a vintage book, The Spirit of Christmas. And then the other one is the Birds' Christmas Song, Christmas Carol. They're beautiful books. And on this child's vintage chair, I have some old books. I have this beautiful vintage Santa tin, and there's the card that sweet Joanne of the Curated Home sent me. It's one of those three-dimensional pop-out cards, just beautiful. And then when you come up here, there is one of those beautiful lighted pictures that we got at Kirkland several years ago. And this snow scene came from a yard sale, I can't remember, maybe 2 years ago. I just kept my red and white transfer up there. And I love this Santa and this beautiful lady. They came from Merrifield Garden Center years ago when we went to visit the kids. And this is a handmade card that I just hung up. Love these little elves. And they go perfectly with those bottle brush trees. I just think they're wonderful. And there's the little bird that our sweet friend sent us. I love it. It was his grandmother's. And another bottle brush tree. And a beautiful Santa. He looks old, but he's not. That we got from a friend years ago. And of course, I had to have a little crown with a candle in it. And there are a couple precious snowmen. Look at that. Those came from up at Merrifield also. And this beautiful picture, you'll remember we got that this summer at a sale, and I just put a candle down in it so you could see the beautiful glow through the red. And another one of our wonderful vintage tins. And this super wonderful elf that John picked out came from Merrifield, and we did get it half price. So that's always wonderful. Up here is the hand-painted snow scene that we got on eBay years ago, and some of my vintage blue and white plates. And that beautiful vintage angel. And the little bone china nativity. And the middle nativity is Ray Dunn. And the sweet little lighted church. And that gorgeous Billy Jacobs light-up prints. He didn't do, that's the only Billy Jacobs light-up print I think we have. And we just love it. And of course, you have to have some of John's Grinches in here. And on this beautiful oak chest, I have some of our absolutely gorgeous vintage balls, and some of them are little elves. They are just wonderful. I showed all of these to you in a separate video last year. And the little glass garland is also vintage. And there are some of our beautiful vintage Santa postcards. And some of my Santa books. And these are all some of the super old precious Santas. Some are celluloid, some are plastic, and some are the felt. A couple of them are German. And that is a vintage print right there. And they're all in one of our old seed boxes. And this vintage flag print, well, it's not a print, it's a watercolor, or pen and ink rather. That stays out most of the time except at Halloween. And some of our vintage blue and white plates. And this is my salt glaze Santa collection. And little stockings I made years ago. And the vintage cross-stitch silhouettes. Another gorgeous light-up picture from Kirkland's. And my silhouettes are still there. And I just hung the little red and white striped stocking again on the wreath in front of that beautiful old window. And there's the Fa La La with the bottle brush tree that our daughter-in-law made for us. I believe that was 2 years ago. And these are more of the beautiful pieces that came from Merrifield. The detail on them, I think, are just wonderful. And they're sitting on one of the scales we got this summer. This Avon pitcher, the cranberry pitcher, we got that at a yard sale this summer. And this Santa we've had for years. And it's sitting in one of my beautiful ironstone bowls. Our daughter gave me this little plate several years ago because I've always collected patriotic. And this is a reproduction sitting on those awesome old books. And there's that just precious snowman pillow cover that our friend Janet brought to us. This Santa stool came from a yard sale years ago. And you know I keep the table simple on the right-hand side for baby boy. I have some of the green old bottles in the window. And here's one of the cross-stitch pieces that we got at a yard sale. Just love it. And my Easter cactuses are in here. And I just stuck a little bottle brush tree down in the little silver pitcher of the child's silver service set. Another Santa that I've had for years. And more green. And another one of the cross-stitch pieces. This quilt we got at a yard sale last year. That's a super soft pillow. And if you've watched my outside front video, you saw the beautiful sleigh that we got at that yard sale. Well, we also got this gorgeous Santa plate that was meant to be hung. He was $5 at the same sale where we got that wonderful sleigh on the front porch, and I just love him. And there is the beautiful Santa print that we got at the yard sale recently for only $10. The detail on it is wonderful. And it's Santa bowing down for baby Jesus. Some vintage Bibles right there, and this precious vintage angel. She's laying on angel hair, which if you remember that stuff, it'll eat you up. There's another one of those Santas we've had for a long time. The little church came from a yard sale, as did those precious little angels, and as did Mother and baby Jesus and Joseph, and so did the little pewter plate and the old Holy Night. The Santa kind of matches the Santa in the picture that's bowing down to Jesus. And down in this cupboard that John made out of the old window, I kept my blue and white, some of my blue and white vintage dishes in there, and I put some of the Polish stoneware Christmas balls in there. And there's that wonderful Santa crock that we've had for years. And hanging on the drawers are those lights from Target that we've had for several years that has the little snow scene in it. And here's where I always put my primitive Santas. And then this beautiful tree. Even if I did do it, I love the ornaments on it. These Santas we've had a long time too. They came from a local primitive shop. His light shines brighter than Rudolph. And that's a little vintage piece and a vintage postcard right there. Love all the Santas. And lots of beautiful reproduction ornaments on the tree. There are some little vintage glass balls here and there. And this Santa right here, this was a scrap art Santa. He is vintage. All the rest are old. I mean new. But they're beautiful. A lot of them came from Paul's Great Stuff in Maryland. And that beautiful glass garland. It's new, but it looks old. Down here is that Polish pottery glass urn filled with new shiny brights. And that patriotic Santa, I've probably had him 15 or more years. One of John's tobacco tins and the pewter cup. Some of my Christmas books. And this is another beautiful old book, The Glorious Lord. More of our vintage Santa tins. See if I can get over so you can see that one. And that red wire plate, we've had that probably, gosh, I'd say 20 years at least, maybe 25. And a beautiful Anna Lee deer that our friend Ellen gave me for Christmas one year. The Anna Lee tree, I'll show you that when we do the kitchen tour next to the Firkins. And just have some greens and a lantern in John's truck. And there are those two beautiful dummy boards that are painted by Jenny Salcini. And in the middle is another one of those sweet cross-stitch hanging ornaments. Over here in this cupboard, I used my blue and white vintage dishes and ironstone, and the gorgeous soup tureen and teapot, German teapot that we got at Goodwill, one of the few lucky times. I'll show you all that closer. And up on top, greens and some little ornaments and a couple of Annalees. Right here are some of the antique doorknobs and a beautiful vintage postcard. I love these blue and white dishes. And back there is the vintage ironstone cream crock, and I just put a little tree in it. And this big ornament here, and this gorgeous bowl that we got recently, blue and white, that's one our daughter gave us years ago. And I have those fish knives and forks with the beautiful pearl handles in that creamer with a pine cone. Back there against the platter that we got recently, a beautiful snow scene postcard. And here is that fabulous soup tureen. I'm so thrilled to have gotten that. And there's the little teapot. And that Santa back there I got from a sweet friend, one of my friends that's no longer with us. She lived to be, I think it was 94 or 95. Another beautiful plate. Ironstone sitting on more of the blue and white. And this ornament here we've had a long time, and it's sitting in a piece of ironstone. And that little snowman is a vintage piece also. And more of those wonderful lights. We'll open up the doors. I got that little snowman cup last year at a yard sale. This vintage soup tureen. That was from Goodwill. It's sitting in some plates, snowman plates. Got that at a yard sale this summer. Wonderful friend sent that to us, and I just put a tree in it. And you'll remember I got that plate recently. More ironstone. Precious little vintage bell. And the little angels. And that's a vintage cup right there. And there's that beautiful picture and more ironstone. Bring it down and I'll open up the other side. I'm sorry this video is going to be longer than normal for me, but there's a lot to see in the living room. And up here I do have some of the snowmen redone. This little set of snowmen are vintage, and that is a vintage Whitman's small marshmallow. The small marshmallow tins were really hard to get and expensive even back in the days when we were buying them. Now you can't even find them. Restaurant ware creamer, the Polish stoneware tree back there. These little pieces are vintage. Just think they're precious. These little angels here, they came from Goodwill, as did that little angel. And I got those recently. And a beautiful plate back there, platter. Here's that beautiful hand-painted lamp that we got years ago. The lady that painted that is no longer around either. We got it on eBay. Have some of these Santas hanging on the old spice box. And an Annalee in front of the blue and white transfer plate. And this Santa here came from a yard sale. This picture we've had a long time. It came from a church sale. John actually found it. And her sketches that she did are down in those little round places. It was framed beautifully. I think John paid $15 for it. And it reminds you of a P. Buckley Moss, but it's not. I can't remember the lady's name. I can't get it focused. Somebody. Might be K. Murphy. Yeah, I believe it is K. Murphy. You can see it better right there. But it's wonderful. And of course, the entry hall is all of John's Grinches. Well, not all of them. All the stuffed ones are up there mostly. And the cute wreath. And there's Grinches going all the way down the stairs, and I'll show them all to you. Grinches everywhere. And there's the Grinch peeping out from behind that antique scale. And Grinches peeping out from behind the railing. John just loves them. So I will decorate them with them as long as he's enjoying it. There's a Sharon Snit Santa picture that John got me at a local shop that is no longer, years and years ago, probably 20 years ago. And up on top, the wonderful vintage choir boys and some of my collection of Santas. I told you I painted that little Santa right there, and a friend painted that one. A lot of these were gifts from John and from the kids throughout the years. So I treasure them. And I left my brooms hanging there. And down there are those gorgeous patriotic Santa prints that Jenny Salcini painted. And that beautiful one with the candy cane frame. Then up here is John's little Grinch village. He made the houses, and I decorated them. And there's that print we got at the kids. We were visiting up at Christmas, and John walked to TJ Maxx, which is, I don't know, it's probably 3 or 4 blocks at least from where our son lived, and he came back with that for me, and I just love it. Well, this is all the living room tour, and again, I apologize that it's so long. I hope you have the patience to watch it all. Love and blessings to y'all from me and John and baby boy, and please check out everyone else on the playlist. We appreciate y'all so much for watching. Till the next time, bye-bye.